What's going on, guys? My name is Button and welcome back to another video where today, finally, I'm making this damn video. I'm so sorry this is taking forever to get out. I recorded it once. I wasn't happy with it, so we're making it again. But I digress. Let's get into this. So, today's video, we're going to be showing you guys how to make the Enderman farm that many of you have seen in my hardcore world on my Twitch stream. If you don't follow me on Twitch, by the way, links in the description. We're live there 6 days a week. But this is the Enderman farm that we have in that world. And this is something that's been requested many, many times as a tutorial on how to make it. This is not the most efficient Enderman farm in the world. This is not the best Enderman farm you could possibly make. But it's a pretty damn good one. And I want to share it with you guys today. So this is what mine looks like in my hardcore world. This is, again, not the most efficient design in the world. It's not the best design in the world. This is slightly taken from Pixel Riff's design. The original one that I watched from him showed just a single platform coming down. But we've adapted it and changed it slightly to kind of make it our own. And hopefully, I think it works just as well, if not a little bit better. But this is my design. You guys can make it any way you like. So let's get into this tutorial. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, well, come to the end and kill the dragon. If you haven't killed the dragon, then, I mean, it's not a big deal. You don't have to kill the dragon, but you have no way of getting back if you don't. And it may potentially cause some issues in the future. So just kill him, get him over with, get him done with, and we'll go from there. So in my world, what's happened is my island, or my little platform, has spawned at the very edge of the island, which actually works out perfect for us. But it doesn't matter where your platform spawns. You just don't have to go off the edge of the island or the furthest point away on one of the sides of the island. But just for this video, I'm going to go off of my platform because it's close enough to the edge that it's not really going to matter. So the first thing you're going to do is grab a crap ton of leaves. Now, I don't know exactly how many leaves you're going to need, but because you can go as far out as you like here. But you want to come far enough away from the end island with leaves that Enderman will no longer spawn on this main island. Now for me, I think that's about 128 blocks, and I'll show you what I like to do with the leaves here in just a second. The reason we use leaves is because Enderman cannot teleport or spawn on leaves, which means that when you build right out, the only place Enderman are going to be able to spawn is in your farm. So I built out a 100, I ended up doing 180 blocks out just for safekeeping, but I've come out 180 blocks, as you can see, from the main island, and if you look over there, you can clearly see there ain't a single Enderman spawning over there, which means they're all going to spawn wherever we decide from now on. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do, once you have your little bridge coming all the way out, I've come 180 blocks, like I said. You can go as many as you like. Just go, though, until there are no Endermen you can see spawning back over there, and you'll be just fine. So the next thing you're going to want to do is hold down F3 on your keyboard and press G. And what that's going to do is it's going to show you the chunk borders in Minecraft. If you did not know, Minecraft is made up of 16 by 16 block areas known as chunks. And what you want to do is you want to come to kind of the middle of one of those chunks. So what I like to do is, once I've built my bridge out a little bit, break a couple of the walls and come out into the middle of one of those chunks. Like this. So once you've done that, what you're going to need to do is punch a 2x1 hole roughly in the middle of the chunk. If anything, maybe a little bit further back than the middle, but it doesn't really matter as long as you're in the middle of it. Now, the next part is going to be a little bit tricky, especially if you're in survival or hardcore. This can be a little bit tough, but what you're going to want to do is use a water bucket to build all the way down to the very bottom of the end. Now, this pillar that you're building down is going to need to be out of a block that's not leaves, so it's not really going to matter about Enderman spawning apart from on top. So as long as you just stick a torch up here, you'll be just fine. But this needs to be a block that is not leaves, that you can place a ladder on. But this needs to be a... This needs to be a block that is not leaves that you can place a ladder on, else you're not going to be able to get down here. You can do water elevators if you like. That also works too. I can't believe I just did that. But any block that is going to allow you to place a ladder on or a water elevator, something along those lines. And what you're going to want to do is what you're going to want to do when you've dropped your bucket of water from the top, I've just put it here to show you what I mean, is you want to build down until you're one block above the very bottom of the world, like you can see here. Now, this next part is completely up to you how you want to do this. This is not... There's no set way to do this. You can do whatever you like for your area down the bottom. In my hardcore world, like I showed you previously. Now, something to note here, this is my hardcore world here, what I've done, is you can do this next section however you like. I opted to do a circle, and I opted to do a 2.5 tall building, so Enderman cannot teleport out. They cannot spawn outside of it. The only person that's going to be here is me. And the only place the Enderman can be is in there. If you do opt to do something like this and you put a roof on it, whether you do leaves or whatever, you have to put that roof on there to make sure you're good. Just ensure you put carpets all over the top, and this will stop Enderman from being able to teleport as well. I'm pretty sure you only have to put one layer. I put two just to be safe. but make sure you put carpets on top of your roof. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build it similarly to how I did in my hardcore world and do a circle with the Enderman farm in the middle as a midpoint. And once I've done that, we'll come right back. Okay, so I may have got a little bit carried away, but this is what I've got. I've built a little circular room, just a cool little circular room. First of all, I built down to that one above, like right here. This is one above the void. Let me place a bucket of water. One above the void right there. And did a nice circle of leaves. And then what I did above that is I put some slabs above that on top of it, right here on the with per slabs. Put some quartz around the edge. I just made a fancy little room with it. But the roof is 2.5 blocks high, so no Enderman can spawn in here. I've thrown some carpets on top of those slabs, so no Enderman can teleport out of here. And I placed the ladders as well on the pillar to go back up. So that's all I've done, is I built myself a cool little room down here. I have marked the middle right here, and you'll notice I've punched a hole in the roof, because the next step is to build the giant drop tube that they're going to die in. Okay, so to start the drop tube, what you're first going to need to do is, well, being as I've built a circle, I want it to be semi-even, so I've put it in the center point. But you can put this anywhere you like within your little room. Is you want to punch out a 3x3, oops, oh, I've screwed that up. You want to punch out a 3x3 hole in your floor, which should reveal the block that you put at the very bottom. And I'm just for now, I'm going to hook up a chest right here. And we'll throw down some hoppers as well. Whoops. What is going on today, button? We'll throw down some hoppers as well, like so. And this is going to be where the Endermen land. So I put carpets on top of the hoppers for the same reason we did in the last mob farm video. So any XP that drops won't get stuck in the hoppers and will just float off to the side where you can pick it up. So from that top of the hopper where you place that carpet right there, you're going to want to build up 39 blocks. Now you don't have to do the whole thing a wall from here because obviously you're going to want to have access to kill the Enderman, but you're going to want to English please. You're going to want to build up 39 blocks all the way up. So once that tube is all built up, I've chosen to use glass. We've come up 39 blocks. Again, I've chosen to use glass just so you can see the Enderman fall down. You can use any block you like, but I think it's kind of cool to see them all falling down. Now, for the next part of the farm, what you're going to need is you're going to need some trapdoors. You're going to need some kind of a spawnable block. I tend to just use cobblestone. It doesn't look very good, but some kind of a spawnable block. You're going to need even more leaves, some fences, a minecart, a name tag, and some ender pearls, and carpets. I think that's everything. I don't know how many exactly you need, because again, this is all, a lot of this is variable for how you want to build it, but I'm just showing you in this video how to build it. I apologize I can't give you some exact numbers on that, but if you want to follow it exactly, then you can just use what I use, but I don't know the exact figures because you can do this in a few different ways. So what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to come down, or come out one block, sorry, and come down one block, like so. So it's going to make like a little step for the Enderman to kind of run up here. And you're going to want to build out 17 blocks on every single side, except obviously the side you've got the ladder, out of leaves. Now, once you come out 17 blocks on every single side, you're going to need to take some trapdoors, which I don't have on me, so let me grab some of those real quick. Trapdoors, like so. You're going to need some trapdoors, and you're going to want to put them on the edge of the glass, like this. Now, again, this isn't going to be the most efficient Enderman farm in the world. There are going to be a few little things that could be a little bit more efficient, but I'm just showing you guys the one that I make in my hardcore world that works really well and gets you as much XP, more XP than you'll ever need, to be honest. So let's move on to the next step. The next step is to actually add the spawning platforms. Now, what we're going to be using here is a method called pack spawning, which is where, I mean, kind of a simple explanation. You take a large area, but only a certain amount of that area is actually spawnable. So the game will take all of the mobs that would spawn on that large area and put them all on the little small area. Does that kind of make sense? That was probably a terrible explanation. But we're going to take advantage of something called pack spawning here. So we're going to want to come out, after we've come out 17 blocks, we're going to want to come out another 4 with a spawnable block type. So this can be anything from cobblestone to wood, whatever you want to do, anything that can spawn a mob on it, right? And you're going to want to come out 4 blocks with that, and then either way, you're going to want to go 5 more blocks. And then you can fill it all in. Just make sure once it's all filled in that you do light this up, because Enderman will start spawning immediately and you don't want that. And you're going to want to do that on all 3 sides. And once you have your platforms, the next part is to actually kind of make the bigger area where the mobs can't spawn, where they get forced onto the smaller area. So on every single one of the platforms, you're going to want to come up to where your leave pathway kind of thing is, and you're going to take 3 blocks all the way around the edge of every single one of these platforms. Okay, so as you can see, we've now added leaves all the way around the edge. So what this is going to mean is Endermen are going to try to spawn on the leaves. The game's going to say, oh, we can't spawn them there. We'll just spawn them on the nearest possible block, which is going to be these little platforms in the middle. So the next step you're going to want to do now is add the fences. Now these just guide the Enderman kind of into the middle. It's not really necessary, but it's more of a nice to have. So what you're going to want to do is on the edge of your leaves here, just where the kind of where the corner is, you're just going to want to put 4 fences on either side. And you can do that on every single one of your platforms. And what that'll do is it'll kind of guide any Enderman that may spawn like over here, down, across, and over, rather than potentially just running straight off the edge into the void, which obviously you don't want because you want the maximum amount of Enderman possible. So the next step is now to work on how we're going to get the Enderman to actually run from the platform down into the hole, and that's using an Endermite. Now, some of you may or may not know this, but Endermen hate Endermites and will automatically aggro to them and start running at them. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put 1 block on this trapdoor right here to put it into the middle, and you're going to want to build up 3. So you can do 2, and then the actual block that the Endermite's going to sit on, which will be that one right there. Make sure you throw a carpet on top of that as well, because you don't want any Enderman teleporting or spawning there. But throw that right there, just like so. And then after that, what you're going to want to do is build a little miniature platform just next to it, like this, and make sure you put a torch in it so Endermen, again, don't spawn. And this is where we're actually going to spawn the Endermite, because this can be a little bit finicky. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple blocks like that just in front of that carpet so the Endermite can't go anywhere else but down there. And what we're going to do is going to add a couple of rails and a minecart and then some ender pearls, which is what's going to actually allow us to spawn the Endermites. You only need a few rails, not too many, just something like that with a minecart on it. Make sure you grab yourself a name tag as well, and then we're going to spawn the Endermite. So to spawn the Endermite, what you're going to want to do is stand on your platform. You can make this as big as you like. This is probably the most dangerous part of the farm. And what you're going to want to do is continuously throw ender pearls just kind of around on this platform until an Endermite spawns. And what will happen eventually, I think it's like a 5% chance, is an Endermite will spawn at the previous position that you teleported from. So I'm going to keep doing this until we get an Endermite. And then when we do, you want to smack a name tag on it as quickly as you can and try to get it in that minecart, which can be a pain in the ass, and you've got to be very careful with, but that's what we've got to do next. Okay, so we have our Endermite that just spawned from that last teleport. We're going to want to hit it with a name tag. We've gone with a very creative name, Bob. And now this, if you're in survival mode, will actually chase you. But you want to get it in that minecart and roll that minecart off the edge so it sits on so it sits on that block. I'm going to straighten that up. 1 second. There we go. It's a little bit better. I had to have another attempt at that. I mean, that kind of stuff can happen, but it's not too big a video. But once you got Bob on that little spot, you can break all your platform up. You don't need this anymore. And he's... I like that I called him Bob. Once you've got your Endermite on that platform, he's going to be sat there and he's going to be safe. Now, just to ensure that he is safe, you want to add a few more carpets. I tend to just add a couple on top of him like that. And that'll stop any Enderman from that may somehow find a way of getting up here from actually being able to get him. So just throw a couple more carpets on top of him like that, and he's going to be the bait. So now we're getting down to the last couple things that need to be done here. So for this next part, you're going to need again a load more leaves and some carpet. I would probably say a couple stacks of carpets just to be on the safe side. But what you're going to want to do now is kind of we're going to try to funnel the Enderman down to make sure they don't fall off the edge, because there will be a group of Endermen that spawn every time here, and the last thing we want is them getting to here and pushing each other off the sides. So we're going to add a little bit of a barrier that's going to stop them from doing that. So the way I like to do that is I like to come a few blocks down, maybe like 2 blocks, something like that. Nothing crazy. Just like so. And we're going to build a little bit of a wall so the Endermen can't push themselves off this side. We'll build the wall probably 3 high from the glass there. And then we're just going to double up the carpet on it, like so. And this will stop any Enderman from being able to fall off on this side, like that. And then obviously you got to do the same on the corners. Just a couple blocks will be fine. Build up onto that corner, a few blocks tall so no Enderman could even climb on top of it. And that'll funnel all the Endermen down just fine. So now the farm is almost finished. You're pretty much done up here. All you have to do up here when you're ready to turn your farm on is remove the torches, and Enderman will start spawning and running down the tube. However, we've got one more thing to do, and that's storage. So what I've done here is I've just added a layer of slabs down the bottom underneath my little glass tube. This is just going to mean that I can't walk under here accidentally, because these Endermen will be angry and will hit you if you get too close. So I just add that slab layer so I can't get in there. And if I want to, I can just hold shift and I can make my way in here, but the carpets will still stop me. So that's why I add that ring of slabs around the top. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that just as a bit of a safety precaution. So as we set up earlier, we do have the hoppers currently inputting into this chest. Now this chest is going to fill up very, very quickly. You're going to get an obscene amount of ender pearls from this. So what I like to do is set up a dropper system to just throw the excess ender pearls into the void, because you are going to end up with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of ender pearls. So for this next step, which is actually kind of the final step to this farm, you're going to need 2 observers, 1 dropper, a couple of hoppers, and some chests, and finally a lever. The chest is just if you want to add some more storage, and, well, you're going to have to break this chest if you lose it for whatever reason or something like that. So the first thing you're going to want to do is add a couple of hoppers underneath these chests. The way I like to do that is just by breaking the chest itself and just adding those 2 hoppers just pointing into the leaves like so. And you'll end up with 2 hoppers that look something like that. The next thing to do is going to be to add your dropper, so I like to break an extra block here. And you want to put your dropper on the side of that hopper so it's just pointing into nowhere. And then you can cover that over with a slab, and you're not going to have to worry about it. I would then add another hopper pointing into this dropper, so that way you've got 2 points of input, because a dropper can actually drop ender pearls or any item faster than a hopper can put into it. So I like to have the 2 hoppers on there, and you can cover that over as well. And then finally, the last thing to add is the 2 observers. And now the 2 observers, you want to have these facing into each other. So what I like to do is just build out 2 like that. That one's pointing that way. Come back this side. That one's pointing that way. And as you can hear, the dropper is now firing. You're not always going to want to have your ender pearls being thrown into the void, though. So if you just chuck a lever on top of your dropper and flick it, it's going to turn it off. And you don't have to worry about it. And then you can just cover those over and replace your chest like that. And now you have a storage system. Now, I'd probably recommend you throw an enchanting room down here so you don't have to keep going back to your base or whatever to do it. Just an enchanting room, maybe a couple more chests for your ender pearls for some excess storage or something like that. But the farm is done. You've got your storage system. You can set this up however you like, by the way. If you want to maybe do it a different way, you can. This is just, again, what I do. You're never going to need as many ender pearls as this farm's going to kick out, so it's not going to matter. And the final thing to do is remove the torches, and your farm should work. Now the torches have been removed, you'll see Endermen have started to spawn. They're getting angry at the little Endermine up there, and they're running straight down. And as you can see, they're all falling down the tube and landing in our little collection area that we've created earlier. Now, the reason why we made the drop 39 is because these Endermen should land, I think it's either 1 or 1.5 hearts. Either way, it's enough that when you hit them with a diamond sword, they're dead. I mean, netherite's the new meta now, but when you hit them with a sword with a sweeping edge, which I don't have, let me grab that 1 second. So I just quickly grabbed a diamond sword and put sweeping edge on it. They land on a low enough health that when you hit them, you end up with an absolute crap ton of XP. That was really loud! And you can continuously kill them, and they'll drop absolutely loads and loads of XP. And as you can see, there's no point really in making the farm any better than this, because I can't pick up XP quick enough anyway. So the little loss of efficiency isn't a huge deal. And now you've got an absolutely ballin' Enderman farm. But that's the farm. That's all there is to it. Now, the spawns look like they've slowed down a lot, and that's because they have, because that pit is just full of Endermen down there. But that's the farm. It works absolutely fantastically. That's a word, isn't it? It works absolutely amazing. Hopefully, you guys can build it in your world as well, and have a ball in Enderman farm too. I do want to real quick give a shout out to Pixel Riffs, as this was built originally from his design. We kind of tweaked it a little bit and made it our own, just to kind of switch it up a little bit. But I wanted to share this design with you guys because you've been asking me a lot in stream to show you guys how it's done. And that's how it's done, so hopefully you find it helpful. But if you did find the video helpful, make sure you smash that like button. I would appreciate it a hell of a lot. If you dislike the video for whatever reason, click the dislike button twice. Subscribe around here if you're new. Follow the Twitch channel if you haven't done so already for, well, we basically stream every day, 6 days a week over there. And that's it from me. Thank you for watching this video. We'll see you guys in the next one.